Have a car crash.
Well, it could be an eject and destruct.
Oh yeah, you need an ejector seats
Ejector
in
seat.
all self-driving cars.
I mean, like crashing into a school bus full of children versus,
Because it's gonna end up. They're gonna it's gonna turn out so that people are gonna be able to buy sensors that they can wear and keep in their pocket that will deter an automatic car from choosing them to be the victim, and they're gonna be wildly expensive, and then it's just, all of these problems are just gonna continue to perpetuate themselves.
Mm-hmm. You have to buy into safety,
Yeah, I mean that's what I see happening. I'm thinking that you're gonna buy less of a chance of being hit by cars that will be constantly crashing into people.
But the thing is, though, I mean, if you go into the future and you think about every single vehicle will now be artificial intelligence, it's going to be a self-driving car, wouldn't that in general be safer then? Because then you would be basically eliminating all drivers on the road, so it would just be all autonomous driving.
Yeah, but how is that going to work? There are so many places
do they become networked,
even
or
this
are they all
country
autonomous?
that are not going to be able to uphold the infrastructure for self-driving cars because their roads are crappy or whatever. People aren't just going to buy self-driving cars for a long time now, so there's going to be a long time where it's only corporations driving them. Foxconn in Wisconsin right now is setting up self-driving autonomous driver lanes to shuttle employees back and forth from Milwaukee to their plant, which I thought was interesting. That's already happening.
Yeah. And then there's been I also read some articles about they were going to link up truck fleets that you can basically run them like trains on the interstate.
Yeah,
you can get them really
cool.
close together.
Mm-hmm. See, I could see dedicated lanes, kind of like having a light rail or some kind of fast track where it's all think of the express lanes, how much quicker it would be if it was just all autonomous and there wasn't asshole drivers everywhere.
Right. And that would actually be a good incentive to get an autonomous car. Is not only is it potentially safer, we'll still have to see what the per mile safety looks like, but if you get one, then you get to use the auto lane, which probably, since it's all robotic, they could maybe increase the speed limit. I don't know.
Yeah,
you could set up some interesting incentive schemes there.
Yeah, I think that's interesting too. And the article that I was reading, they were talking about some of these self-driving cars is they wouldn't even have brake pedals, gas pedals, or any kind of steering wheel, so it would be 100% autonomous, which I think is kind of a little bit freaky, especially if you need to use your car for other purposes. So would you have a car that's dedicated as your commuter to work, and then you say have an off-road vehicle, say if you have to drive on the farm or something? Right. I mean, I can see where you're going to have some of that overlap where someone's going to be driving their car on the road, and then does it become illegal to drive your car on the road if there's all these autonomous vehicles?
Yeah, and that's going to be the really tough thing.
Looking at you, Abby, Wisconsin, that whole state, not to say that Minnesota is completely innocent, but self-driving cars, it's going to do a lot for our DUI population.
North Dakota, too, beat out Wisconsin by 0.2% as the drunkest state.
Really?
Way to go.
Drunkest measured how?
Binge drinking and amount consumed per year.
I think Wisconsin still leads in DUIs.
Wisconsin leads in DUIs. North Dakotans are either...
So you guys just get away with it more is what you're saying.
There's less cops out there.
Yeah.
True.
I don't actually know the reason.
Yeah, you could booze up, just get behind the wheel, but you don't have to drive anywhere.
Yeah, so you could just get sloshed up and then just jump in the cab with 5 other people and then just have your car bar hopping for you.
Oh man, I like this plan.
I mean, they're going to be about probably as proficient as Uber drivers.
Right, but
but
without
the
without the sketchy I'm going to drug your water and then not doing have the CEO of Uber not do anything about it.
Did that happen?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the thing. Uber drivers, they were drugging people's waters. If they get a female passenger or whatever, they would spec their drinks and then do their thing.
So have they been trying to hold Uber liable for things like that?
I know
I would assume that, because the thing with Uber, of course, is that they're all independent contractors, and so, but you'd obviously want to hold the Uber liable because that's, of course, where all the money is.
Exactly.
Right.
That's why you make them independent contractors. Uber, it's a genius.
That's
you never have to pay for anyone else's hardship.
Right, you lose you don't have any of the liability, but you get all the gains and all the revenue from it.
Homework, podcasters, is everyone look up the elements of employment in your state and send us a 10-page essay.
in size 10 font, single spaced.
It can be 11.
So anyway, let's move on to another topic. And we've talked about this just a little bit briefly on another episode. I think it was episode 1.
Is this my pet issue?
Yeah. So this is kind of Hannah's little pet issue, but we're seeing a lot more people who were children at one point around the world suing.
Were
They were, and I'm getting to that. But they're suing as adults their parents who took pictures of them and post them on Facebook. And sometimes when you have like a little baby photo, the children are naked in them. And so there's been some lawsuits. I think very few have worked their way through the U.S. system, but through other international territories, countries, this has continued to come up, and there have been some significant cases.
Yes, I support them. I already came down on the side of these children suing their parents, and I'm sending notice to all the parents: stop posting embarrassing pictures. I mean, there's enough embarrassing pictures of yourself that you can post. Like,
are you just saying this because you're sick of seeing it on Facebook, or for legal reasons?
You know, somehow the demographic of my friend group, I really don't see that many baby pictures. And I should add in there, in case my sisters are listening, my nephews are exempted. They're super cute. Great job.
What if your nephews, when they're older, want to sue your sisters? I mean, will you be representing them?
Yeah, we'll work out a settlement in that case. But I think
Does the settlement involve you not coming to Christmas?
Oh, no. If anybody's not coming to Christmas, it's someone else. But, I think that there's just a nugget of information, of truth to be learned here by the parents, which I think, Mitch, you said that you're somewhat guilty of this. As a poster.
Whoa. Not me. My wife is guilty
you're gonna
doing this.
Blame your wife.
Throwing her under the bus.
That is
hardcore.
Just like, what's the California senator, the guy who he's like getting indicted for spending all of his campaign fund. Like,
he's like, my wife spent all of the campaign money.
Okay. He's a rep in the house.
Yeah, and they like went on a trip to Hawaii and Italy and stuff. And he's like, I don't know, my wife really likes to shop. And there's like there are like emails between them where she's like, hey, put this on the company card, basically.
I think that was his defense. My wife really likes to shop.
Yeah. Hopefully he goes to jail. Anyway, that's not what we were talking about. What we were talking about was Facebook and other social media sites. Just like give your kids a chance to become people, I think, before you start like defining who they are and like building what is actually a permanent record. Think of all of the things that like you would like to forget or would just like not want anyone to be able to find on the internet from your childhood, especially your adolescence, like those braces photos, all of that. Like,
you know, I think actually if you want your kid to have any clout at all, you need to start building their social media presence right away.
Right, Abby's in the branding camp here. Yeah. She's like, baby needs a tagline.
You have to hire a publicist and follow their instructions. And you make that kid a star.
Right. And I think that was like my biggest issue is, you know, we learn a lot of, like our segment right now for constitutional liberties that we're talking about is child pornography and obscenity. So like you think about all these different cases where, I mean, you take a picture of your kid playing in the bathtub. You don't think anything of it. But I mean, right. There are not good people out there who use those pictures and they exploit these children and they use them as identifiers to sell them on the dark web and stuff. There's definitely some very sinister things that could happen as a result of that. But moreover, I mean, I think it also goes to show, like, we were talking about this case, and I don't know exactly how it was resolved, but there was this man who had a government job, and he had taken a picture of his kids playing in the bathtub. It was a cute picture or whatever. And their job did a sweep of all of the work phones and found those pictures on it, and he was charged with child pornography in that sense because he had those pictures of his kids on there. And, you know, he said, you know, I was just taking a picture of them in the bathtub, but it could be construed as, you know, is it obscene? Is it child pornography because you have a naked child on your phone? So, I mean, and it's kind of off topic, talking about putting it on Facebook, but I mean,
But I mean, it kind of is. I don't know if you guys remember the Jacob Wetterling case.
Yeah.
I was in central Minnesota, really big where I'm from. So I'm originally from central Minnesota, and this happened in St. John's, Minnesota, which is right in the middle of central Minnesota. And this was a huge case because
it was a big deal.
he was missing for like 20 years or something like that, and his parents became huge child advocates. But they finally found the guy who did it 20 years later, and they only found him because they found that he had a ton of child pornography that he had found through like going on like Facebook and all these other internet sites, just looking for people who had children and like posting their, who posted their naked, babies on Facebook because they think it's funny. But he would actually take that and use it obviously for sinister tactics. So I mean, it's definitely something that.
Is that the one where they found the kid in the field after like 20 years?
Yes,
He led them to he as part of like a plea agreement. I think he.
Okay, I did hear about that one then.
Yeah, so that one was a really big deal.
So that's
So
uplifting.
Don't post naked pictures of your kids.
Definitely
but still
not naked.
start
I didn't
building
know
their
that we were
clout
turning
early.
this into a true crime podcast.
Yeah, but they will. I mean, they will. I mean, they'll be able to sue for it. The French. Shout out to the French. Actually, announced a right of action against parents that people could take. I believe. Yeah. Okay. Can we close this out by reading the top comment on this article that I was just laughing at, and now Anthony is. So, Mr. Mike Lawn,
what is this article?
The article, it's from The Guardian. It's a couple years old, I think, actually. So, yeah,
it's on the topic?
2016. Yeah, could children one day sue parents for posting baby pics on Facebook? Which I swear I did not get it from this article. But top comment, Mike Lawn says, "My wife has never recovered from seeing a picture of my penis while my mom first showed her pictures of me as a toddler. She is now threatening to sue my mom for post-traumatic penis syndrome, PTPS, due to its enormous size."
Oh my god.
And then the top reply to him is, "Don't think being funny is your thing. Have you ever tried knitting?" So, something for everyone.
All right,
I chuckled at it.
So on that note, thanks Jake for coming and being part of our podcast.
Thanks for having me.
I apologize for my co-host behaviors.
You never have to come here again if you don't want to.
I mean, at least I didn't have to draw the cup of shame, so we're all good.
Oh, no, yes you do. Sorry,
yeah,
you mentioned it.
There's
Wait,
a cup of shame.
who has an off-the-cuff trivia
question?
Yeah.
You're a 1L, right?
Yes.
What are your classes?
Torts, Civ Pro, and Crim.
Which rule of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure would you bring a motion under if you wanted to dismiss a lawsuit, typically?
Under 12B, which number do you want?
Jeez, okay. He was right.
So that means you have to do it.
Oh, that means Hannah
that's not how it works.
has to draw from the cup of shame.
Hannah.
That's not how it's supposed to work. How
Yes.
much debt do you have, and how much will law school add to it? I have currently. I mean, what are we talking like?
Undergrad.
All debt.
Psychological,
All debt.
social.
Sleep debt?
Psychological debt. We're going to be
Sleep
here all
debt,
day for you
sleep
calculating
debt
that.
Rude.
You can round it to the nearest 100,000.
I'm like probably not in as bad of shape as I could be. I've got less than $20,000 right now in debt.
Ooh.
I might.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, I might end up with more than that, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I mean, but I also would say working during school, if you're not in the part-time program, probably not worth it. Was not fun. So,
Wait, you worked during 1L?
yes.
Impressive.
While going to school.
Congrats,
No, it was
congrats
not.
on sitting here and not in a loony bin.
Yeah, no, this is the loony bin. Have you noticed the padded walls? They're literally padded.
Thank you for listening to the Cold Call Lawcast. Follow us on social media at Cold Call Lawcast. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Ask us any question you'd like, and we'll answer it on our next episode.
And shout out to Seth Tracy. You can reach him at sethtracymusic@gmail.com.